What up, crazy bitches? It's the crazy one. ADD Mike back in the building. Back in this crazy bitch. In this crazy world. This crazy fucking world. Let's see if we can figure something out here, fam. Try different techniques. So, on for today's Goon Squad. Damn, there's gotta be a way to lock this thing in. Gotta be creative trying to get it to stay and record. So it's Friday. And I was just recollecting on some shit that I had been through back in the day. Some of the crazy and shady characters I run with. That ain't working. Hang on, give me a second. Anywho, stick it with me. Okay. So some more of the Goon Squad. So as I mentioned before, I run with a lot of shady characters. And through all my times of shady craziness, was a lot of coincidences. And I've mentioned them, quite a few of them before. So, there was a time when I lived in and out of hotels. This was even recently. I lived after I moved out of Sandy Springs, I moved into a townhouse in Marietta, and it was a buddy of mine's that I rented from. And so I got behind on rent, and I paid him up, and I thought we were cool, and he kicked me out just for being late. So I was in a bad situation, and we needed a place to stay immediately. This happened, immediately. He said, you got some money to get out. And I couldn't find a place fast enough, and my credit was screwed, and etc. So I had to move into a hotel again. So we're staying in this hotel in Kennesaw, Georgia, and we had our cats. So it was very hard to not only find a place to stay, but a place that we could bring our animals with as well, right? So we found this place, a Red Top or Red Roof Inn or something like that in Kennesaw. And like I said, we looked high and low for places that would let you take animals, right? It was very hard to find a place, especially a hotel, that accepted animals. But we found a place. So we lived in this place for a couple of months, me and my wife, and it was another one of these shit shows, and it was horrible, right? So the room that we stayed in was the only room available, the only decent place in there that was available was right by the stairwell, right? So every night, all these people are conjuring around in the stairwell at night. So they're literally right outside my bedroom window, talking and coughing and being loud. And it was a problem from day one. It was a problem all the way through, right? So we was constantly having words with people. I almost got in a fight with this girl's husband. This girl would stay up. Our neighbor stayed up all night and sat outside our right close to our bedroom window and talked on the phone all night long. So I finally got tired of it and said something to the office. They said something to her, so it started problems. Now her husband's run his mouth. He ran his mouth one day, and I said, "Bring it on, big boy. We can settle it right here." He was talking shit, and I guess he thought I wasn't going to say something or buck or whatever, and he was run his mouth. And I said, "We could do it right here, big boy. It ain't shit to me. Bring it. Don't run it. Don't front it. Run it, bitch." And I said that to him in front of all these people. So, of course, it turned to situation for us. But at the end of the stairwell, or at the end of the hallway, was a couple of lovely characters, right? There was one guy, and him and his wife and his kids stayed in there, and he had warrants for them. While we were staying there, he got in a wreck or something. Let me think back to this. What exactly he do? His car broke down, or he got in a wreck, or drove. I don't. His vehicle got fucked up, and he ran on foot from the police. That's all I remember for sure at the deal. So he was wanted, and he was wanted already before that. And so now this guy, like I said, this guy's wanted, and and when you're in a hotel, you're gonna see. First of all, when you live in a hotel, you're gonna see police more than average. Okay, for those of you that do or don't know, you know, there's a lot of people live at hotels, and it's what they call like hotel life, right? So you're gonna have drug addicts, prostitution. I've been to a couple different ones. Is how I know. And I used to travel a lot I was on the road for construction, and I stayed in a lot of hotels the days when I traveled. So I know a lot about this hotel living, like I said. And there's always a lot of police. There's always a lot of drugs. There's always prostitution. And there's always problems. You can guarantee on all that, right? So we're staying in this hotel. We're having problems with our neighbor. Now we're having problems with quite a few people. And this young girl next door says something, or no, this guy says something, and I insinuated that this girl was cute for him to go for it. Well, this young guy got offended because he was gay, and he went and ratted me out and said that I was flirting with the guy's daughter, which he was just mad because, for whatever reason, because he was gay and I offended him. God forbid, you know. I made some insinuation about this girl. He took it personal, so he made a deal about it, and it was the daughter of the guy that was wanted. So he became problems. He had waves. Me and that guy had words. So it was a bad scene across the board. At the very end of the hallway was this guy Mike. Okay, Mike was a good bit younger than me. He was in his middle 30s. He was the maintenance guy for the hotel, right? So like how he paid his rent was by fixing shit, right? He was just, like I said, he was the handyman. He mowed the yard. If there were, you know, you needed extra towels, if you needed your room cleaned or vacuumed or a pipe burst. Really, he didn't know shit about plumbing, but I'm giving you, you know, just the idea. He was the maintenance man. He didn't know maintenance. I don't really know what his deal was, but he was just the guys that owned this Indian guy owned the place. He was just his bitch for his rent, right? The guy had like an enormous amount of kids. I can't remember how many kids there were, but if defects would have came in, he would have been in deep shit. Him and his girlfriend had kids with other men, and they had kids together. There must have been about 8 kids, right? Staying in a 2-bedroom hotel. It wasn't even 2 bedrooms. Ours was 2 bedrooms, but theirs was 2 bedrooms and, 1 bed and, you know, like a fold-out couch, right? Like a single fold-out couch at that. Chair, you know what I'm saying? They have like a single chair, folds out into a couch in a hotel. That's all they had, and there was 8 kids plus in that room. There was kids sleeping on the floor. There was tons of kids sleeping in the bed. It just, you could imagine. I never even got to look in there. I seen what the room looked like, and like I said, there's no way in hell there should have been more than 2-3 people in that room tops. They lived in there with like 8 deep, okay? And this guy's, Mike, his girlfriend's a fucking rhinoceros, hippopotamus, right? She's like 350, 400 pounds, lazy and sorry as fuck, right? Don't never come out of a room, just sits in there on her fat ass all day. Mike, if you see this video, I'm sorry. It is what it is. So, this was their kind of shit show, right? And like I said, 9 times out of 10, I'll have a coincidence with people, and bam, lo and behold, me and this guy Mike, we talk, get to learn, know each other. Not really know each other. We start to almost bond, kind of talking to this guy daily and shit. And come to find out, he's best friends, his childhood friend, his best friend growing up, and still to the day was and is, let me back it up, and I don't have the guy, I can't remember the kid's name, but let's call him Eddie, okay? If you know my stories, you'll know him as, this is the kid, this is the guy, he's Daisy's friend. I picked him up and I took him to the job. He's his best friend, his other best friend, the guy that he had two best friends, one guy in the hotel, and this kid Eddie had another best friend who got shot and killed, blown away with a shotgun at the gas station over a pill. If you know my story, now you know who I'm talking about. He was Daisy's buddy. He was a drug addict, pretty much a piece of shit. He was a mechanic, but he rode with Daisy. He was Daisy's, mop boy, whatever. So if you know the story, you know who I'm talking about. His baby's mama was the manager, was the boss at the methadone clinic. So you may have to back up and watch some of my videos if this is your first or second video. That guy, the guy whose baby mama was the manager at the methadone clinic, the same guy whose best friend got shot and killed over a pill. And so that guy was this guy Mike's best childhood friends. Coincidentally, me and that guy Mike were just talking one day, and was asking, people you may know, and yada yada yada. And he knew who Daisy was. He knew Daisy, and so he told me the guy's name. And like I said, we'll call him Eddie. I can't, for the life of me, I can't think of the kid's name, but they were best friends, right? So now I'm seeing this guy Eddie. I'm taking him to work. We're working together. I'm seeing this guy Mike when I come home. They're talking about each other. So I hooked this guy Mike up with Daisy, right? I'm now getting him some shit, right? He's now getting heroin. And this guy's on intense probation, right? This guy's is just an idiot. He's in and out of jail. His baby mama is a big fat chick, right? Every time he goes to jail, his baby mama goes running back to her ex-husband. Ex-husband's obviously giving some money. She's obviously fucking him on the side. Like I said, she's 350, 400 pounds. And just a big love of shit. And why anyone would want to fuck her is beyond me. But like I said, she was Mike's baby's mama. And when he'd go to jail, which was often, she would pack up and take off, and wouldn't come back to the hotel until Mike got out of jail. Crazy. She was very, very rarely ever there when Mike wasn't there. As soon as Mike would go to jail, and within a 3-month period, he went 2 or 3 times, right? Short little probation revocations. We might have been there 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 months. In that span of time, he was in and out of jail quite a few times. And one of these times, so now he's on intense probation and he's doing dope. His baby mama's telling people don't get him nothing, etc. So one day he comes and he's begging me, pretty much to hook him up, get him some shit. We go meet Daisy for the first time. I eventually turn him over to Daisy, but before I do what anyone in the situation does. I get mine every time. I hook him up, right? So one of these days, we go and we meet Daisy, and I hook him up. And he says, "You think we can be back?" I gotta be right back. My probation officer's coming. Your probation officer's coming to your hotel, and you want to go get dope? Yeah. Okay. Whatever. So, once again, one of these drum rolls. What's going to happen? I already told you what's going to happen. You just didn't hear it. We go get dope. On our way back, his phone's ringing. Ring, ring. Hello? Hey, baby. Yeah. No, I'm on my way back. Yeah. No, I'll be there soon. No, not yet. No, yes, no, 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 no. His probation officer is there, and his baby mom's talking to her in front of his probation officer, and you from the way he's talking, he's trying to, cover his ass. He's supposed to be there. His probation officer's now, he knows she's coming. Dumb fuck, a fucking idiot. Only an idiot would do this shit to begin with. I mean, even if you were strung out, you would have waited till your probation officer come and go. He didn't want to wait. We go get dope. We're on our way back. His probation officer's there. His baby mom's calling, blowing him up. Probation officer wants to know where he's at, but why isn't he here, etc., etc. He tells her he's running late from work. Sorry, it's 7 o'clock. He's in violation just for not being there on time. It's 7 o'clock. You're supposed to be in your house, whatever, in your hotel, whatever. He's out past curfew, and we're coming up the road, and now when you see the hotel, it's on a 4-lane major road, Highway 41, going through Kennesaw and Marietta, and whatchamacallit, right outside Atlanta. And so what I'm saying is, you're going down the road. It's 4 lanes, 2 ways, 2 lanes going each way. So we're going, and we're passing the hotel. We can see it on the other side of the road, right? You have to go a mile down and make a U-turn and come back. We're passing the hotel, and we see cop cars galore. There's 4 or 5 cop cars down there. Not just a probation officer, but now the police are down there. And so we say, fuck. And he's like, fuck. And he says, let me out. So I pull over almost where they can see us, but not really, and let him out, because now he's going to get out. He's going to go by his damn self, because now I'm knowing for damn sure if I pull in this bitch with him, there's a good chance I'm going to go to jail. So I pull over, I let him out. He goes over there. I go up. I go around to the U-turn to come back, and I call my wife. And now me and my wife are talking. And she's telling me, yeah, it wouldn't be a good idea, for you to come in here right now. There's a dozen cops down here. It was actually my wife was sitting there with his wife. The first time my wife called me, she was telling me there's a dozen cops outside. Is it because of Mike? I said, yeah, it is. So she's telling me, don't pull in here, don't. There's a chance I could get hemmed up. Like I said, there's 4 or 5 cop cars sitting in the parking lot. Anybody, Joe Blow's got nothing to do with nothing, could get pulled over or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're, like I said to begin with, you're talking hotel living. Cops are in those type of places. They ain't stupid. You can look it up. Like I said before, I lived in a hotel before in Roswell, and from being there for 4 or 5 years, having to get my shit together, I learned and found out what the deal was. What the deal is hotels hold and traffic drug dealers, human traffickers, all kind of shit. But the police come in there, and in most of these places, the police will come in and go in the office and be buddy with the guy and look through his logs and go all throughout the list and get all the names of the people that live in there and cross-reference them to who's on probation, who's got warrants, etc. This is fact. One of the guys I was in jail with was telling me about this way before when I first went to jail. The guy that I said beat the hell out of the dude in maximum security, the first badass fight I saw, that guy was the one who told me. He used to live in the hotel at Wade Green in 92 in Kennesaw. So I knew about it that far back. He was in jail for the same shit. He was in the hotel. They ran his tags. They found out it was him. He was there. That's how he got busted. Because the cops were driving through the parking lot and calling people's tags in and shit. It's fucked up. But people, he was telling me, cops would come in and go and look down the list. He didn't get caught by a car. He got caught by the cops actually came in there and got his name off the list of the people that lived there. I mean, that's got to be, illegal and all that kind of shit. Yeah, that can't be legal, you know. But this is the type of shit that goes on. So I drop him off. He goes over there. Obviously, he goes to jail. I wait like 30, 45 minutes. It took a while for the cops to clear out. I parked up the street at the gas station and was coinciding with my wife, and I wasn't coming in there until they were gone. You know what I'm saying? So the neighbor, the guy that was 2 doors down from him, like I said, he had warrants and shit. They came. That guy jumped off over the rail and took off on foot, and had police looking for him. At a complete fear. They weren't there for him, but he was so fucking paranoid. He jumped over the rail when he seen him and took off running, and got his own shit. They didn't catch him right then and there, but he made his bed. He was later caught. I think because of that. I'm not for sure, but he was another one of these. Everyone in there, even myself, was a wild card. The guy that ran from the police, he didn't have to run, and they made it where they were now noticing him. He got busted soon after we moved out. He got caught, and I'm not sure that they cross-reference, like I said, people that live and stay in hotels, but I know for a fact that when they ran, he alerted the police. So that's probably how he got busted, because the cops in all these in all the hotels I'd ever stayed in, like I said, a lot of people live in them. Well, there's a lot of people that live in them that are on probation and fresh out of parole. And you got cops and parole officers and probation officers there on the daily, all the time. So it's not a good place to, it's not a good place to do shit. It's a good place to eat, sleep, and shit, and get the hell out of there when you can. So all these dudes were getting fucked up. But like I said, this guy Mike, the janitor, he happened to be best childhood friends, coincidentally, with Daisy's boy. Another one of these small world crazy ass coincidences. So, like I said, they were all wild cards. And okay, so now I've kind of given you some of the backlog on these guys and characters. Okay, so we're going to call this guy Eddie now, okay? He's now a guy at one time that I was neighbors with Mike. He was his childhood best friend. He was also Deezy's good friend, runner, doughboy. And like I said, his other real true childhood best friend, that guy had just gone out of prison for selling meth. His buddy that was murdered at the gas station, that was his true childhood best friend, the guy that was murdered, right? So there's the guy, say his name is Eddie, and that's not his name, I can't remember his name, and his best childhood friend, not the guy in the hotel, other guy that he was shot and killed. Let's call that guy James, okay? James and Eddie lived across the street from each other. At one time, Eddie was living with James, his buddy, right? Eddie, the younger guy, Deezy's friend, he was like a lazy, loafer guy, didn't work, just a sorry ass, right? Just a sorry fuck, right? This is the same guy that was his baby's mom run the methadone clinic at one time, right? So the first day I meet this piece of shit, I meet him at Deezy's. He's fixing Deezy's car. Deezy just bought an older Mustang and was getting it fixed up, and it needed a little work. So this guy Eddie or James, I don't remember which, DZ's buddy. He's working on DZ's car. He's a mechanic, and he doesn't work very much. Like I said, he does odd shit here and there, but really he's just a drug addict and a thief and a lazy piece of shit. So the first day I meet him, I go over to DZ's during that time frame when I met him, and he, like I said, he was in the driveway fixing DZ's car, and he tells DZ he needs a part, right? So DZ asks me, we run him up to the auto parts store. Said, yeah, sure, no problem. Take this guy up to the auto parts store, pull up in front of the building. I'm sitting outside, and I got some shit in my lap, right? This guy comes running out of the auto parts, jumps in my car, and goes, go, 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 stomp it, go, go. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? So I stomp it, and now I'm pissed. I stomped it and got right out of the parking lot, and the first available spot where I could get pulled over and get out of the way, because as soon as he jumped in my car and said, go, go, stomp it, get out of here, I had to go and stomp it no matter what, because like I said, I sit there, I had dope in my lap. This stupid fuck goes in the auto parts store and steals like a $2-3 part, okay, and comes running out of the auto parts store. They got cameras. This is what a kind of numbskull, just idiot, lowlife that my boy runs with, right? And my boy can be too. This guy's gonna risk going to jail for a $2-3 part. Like I said, crazy shit. That was the first day I met him. So if you couldn't tell, I really didn't care for the guy that much. But like I said, he was DZ's boy. DZ, he was his mechanic, etc., etc., So I took him on, as a charity case. And like I said, he just was coincidence with this other guy. But put the two and two numbskulls together, you'll never have four. And this is the kind of shit you could look forward to if you ever get yourself caught up and wrapped up in hard drugs. You will eventually find yourself around people like this. It's not a maybe. It's a yes, definitely. Like I said, I've been dealing with drugs dealt with drugs for 30 years. I know a little too much about it and the people that are associated with it. This is what kind of people and caliber of people you can be damn sure that you'll be neck and neck with, dealing with. So, like I said, say they're James and Eddie. There's the one guy that got shot and killed right before he did, back up 6 months or so before that, when he was alive. He had just gotten out of prison. He had just done a 10-year stint for meth. He was a big meth dealer. He was the guy that his baby's mama and his ex-wife were friends, and they had like this, I don't know, kind of Alabama type marriage relationship type thing going on. Like I said, there was the baby mama and the ex-wife were always at the house together, and you got the impression that one was baby's mama one week and one was the other, and they switched roles, if you feel what I'm saying. So anyways, like I said, this guy gets shot and killed, blown away at the gas station a few months later. But before he does, he gets out of jail, he gets in the house, he's got his kids back now. It ain't even been a year since he's been out of prison now. Like I said, he did 10 years for a big meth. They say he was a big meth dealer, and he was just one of these nice guys that seemed like he had a heart of gold, and would give you the shirt off his back. And those are usually the ones that usually get fucked. So he's letting the guy Eddie, whatever, his piece of shit friend, DZ's boy, he's letting him live with him now, right? So now this guy I'm telling you about, who stole the auto parts, stole shit from the auto parts, and there was a whole lot of little stories that go along with it. And so he just wound up being a wretched dude, right? Just an all out conniving shit. So one day, he's now his buddy's putting him up, right? And his buddy's already got like, I don't even know. There was a house full of kids, like I said, from diapers to 17. I think he had a son that was just starting to do heroin and shit, 17, 18 years old. And there was kids in pretty much just about every age group in between. So we had all those kids to fend for: a baby's mama, ex-wife, yada yada, etc., a household. And his supposed buddy, DZ's buddy, waits till he's sleeping one night, and what do you think he does? Goes in his fucking pockets, takes out $1,000 out of his wallet. I think it was a 1,300. He wiped him out, piece of shit, right? So a day goes by, and now DZ's telling me now the guy that he stole the money from knows why he hasn't put his foot in his ass, why he hasn't manned up and beat the shit out of him, called him out. He hasn't done none of this. So he's let Eddie, or whatever his name was, he's let him fucking steal his $1,300. He was dealing too, and he's the same guy that was he was an electrician at the Sanders electrical place right up the street from my house. Coincidentally, he was an electrician there. My landlord used them recently, and so they all knew who he was. Obviously, like I said, he was an electrician right up the street from my house. Coincidentally, well, his best friend robs him, takes his money, goes and buys a bunch of dope. Basically spent his rent money. Just a piece of shit, you know? I mean, who does that, right? Takes his money. The next day I go, I think DC was in the hospital at this time. DC went to the hospital once or twice. This was a morning that I was at DZ's house to pick up the zoo crew, the junkie squad, and DZ was in the hospital. He wasn't there, but this guy was. And so he's telling me, you know, he's got all this money. He'll buy me an 8-ball if I can get him an 8-ball. He'll buy me one too. I find this kind of odd and out there, so I'm making calls, and I'm not able to do shit. It's like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and you know, most people ain't up, but DZ's in the hospital, so I can't do it. Later on that day, DZ gets home, calls me up. He's other guy he's took the money from's calling DZ up, wanting to know where he's at. You know, as DZ gets a hold of him, tells your buddy's looking for him, calls him out, lies right to his face. Buddy lies right to DZ's face. He lies right to his best childhood friend, you know what I'm saying, that now takes care of his sorry ass, lives at his house too, and he's ripped him off. And he was even working with us, so he had money coming in. This is just the kind of people that you can damn well be prepared to encounter when you start fucking with hard drugs and start living not sound mind. You can be of not sound mind and it ain't got have anything to do with drugs. I've lived mental anguish way before I ever even thought or considered drugs. Mental anguish and mental problems was a problem for me, which led to my addiction. So let it be known, let the truth be told. These are just a handful of scumbags and backstabbers I've known in my life. These are just some of the stories. Stealing from people's best friends who are helping them and putting them up and helping them in every facet of life, and still turn around and sticking you in the back. Be careful the company you keep. That's why I roll solo. I roll with my wife. I work by myself. Thank God for all that. This is the ADD, man. Stay ADD. Please like, share, comment. comment. I don't care if you share. At least say fuck you. Love you. Stay ADD.